As any wise person would do with a free Saturday evening, I was doom scrolling, and I thought, why not add some self-loathing to it? So I looked up a bunch of people on LinkedIn and I stalked all my peers from like elementary to high school, and I came across some really impressive profiles. Like, they seem to be at places that I want to be at right now. And then I thought, like, why did I choose this degree that I'm in? Why did I not choose something else when I could have been there alternatively? And so there's like a few ideas about this situation and this emotion that I came to that I want to talk about. So first off, I just want to mention that having any sort of contemplation about your career, especially if it's a very specialized one, I think speaks to a lot of privilege. I went on a group study trip to Mexico City, which already, if you're going on a group study trip, or even if you're in university, I think that is an immense amount of privilege. Anyways, we were there to explore their political, historical, colonial contexts that have led to the Mexico that is today. And though we only got a little scoop of an experience, I realized just how much wealth that North Americans live in compared to a lot of parts of the world. Like, we fall into a very small percentage of people who have access to very exclusive opportunities and therefore career specialization opportunities as well. So first off, I just want to make a disclaimer that I think if you're at a place to contemplate careers and whatnot, I think it's important to take a moment to acknowledge the amount of wealth that we take for granted and enjoy. Even basic services like water, having in the government, having government services, things like that. Like, we think they are obvious givens. Well, we sometimes forget that that's not the case for a lot of the people in this world. Anyways, there's a few ideas from this trip that I actually want to talk about in relation to this career crisis that I had in comparing my journey to my peers. Idea of self-contempt brought up by my professor was really interesting. So, in a capitalistic society, there's winners and losers. Because also to be a winner, there has to be a loser. This idea of becoming a loser, getting the short end of the stick, suffering the externalities, which usually includes inequalities, to tie your poor performance in the market to your worth and your identity, and you turn inward to point fingers at yourself. And you're caged in this self-hatred, self-contempt. And so I thought, I could stretch this idea and think, yeah, it is hard to find employment opportunities, but I need to acknowledge the bigger system that I play in. And that just because I lose some games, I don't need to necessarily tie that to now hate myself for it. So I was reminded of that idea, so I wanted to share that. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about with comparison was that I totally forgot that one, I have achievements of my own that I've made in the last few years that are significant to me. Whether big or small accomplishments, they are what matter to me, and it's what I chased because it held significance to me. Accomplishments would not have meant anything to me 3 years ago, because that's not what I wanted. Accomplishments are like kind of small when I look at it sometimes. Like, for example, I was on a run this morning and my health is a lot better than where it was like even just 2 years ago. Like first year of university, I was getting sick every month, struggling mentally, and I'm at a better place now. But also, like the real cherry on top this morning, feels so silly to say. I think it's important to share that whatever your accomplishment is, if it matters to you, it's worth celebrating. So I was running with a group of friends at this like massive last uphill stretch, and I was going up. I was going up pretty well, all right? Like I would have smoked my 17-year-old self for sure. But what burned during the uphill run was not my quads, but my glutes and my hamstrings. And this matters to me because if I will nerd out about anatomy for a second, it's really important to use the muscles on the back of your legs called the posterior chain when you are doing activities. And it's hard to just like be like, oh, let me use my butt and hamstring muscles. You can't just like command that. You have to train to do that. And it takes a lot of rehab work if you're not used to doing it. And I've been working on it, and I could feel them burning during the workout. And I was like, I'm beginning to reap the fruits of my labor. So then I thought, you know what? Like, I have been working on this for a bit now, and this is what mattered to me. And I got to experience the joy of accomplishing that. But so often, when we accomplish something, we move the goalpost, and the satisfaction or the glory only lasts so long. And especially at this stage of life, stagnance feels scary because we feel the need to get established first. Established means we want to feel some sense of like solid, unmovable security before we can feel that we can relax, we can put our guards down, and just enjoy life as is. It feels like we have to earn it first. The other thing I want to talk about is how I am unemployed this summer. So looking at how people are doing internships and co-ops and doing, all these impressive things, think about how I didn't pursue full-time employment for this summer because I wanted to explore. But that also means I don't make money, or not as much. And because productivity and worth is so tied to income, and it's also so tied to your self-worth, a difficult time detaching myself from that. But there is a place I do want to turn my attention to, which is exploration. I'm waiting in a year, and I'll talk about this hotel receptionist that I met in Mexico City when I was on my group study trip, because his words really touched me. Last night, we ended up having a pretty lengthy conversation, and I confided in him about all these internal struggles that I have, all these monologues, these feelings that I have about my future. And he stopped me and he said, Sumi, where do you want to be in a year? Back in a year and tell me about all of your accomplishments. And that really struck me because, number one, the faith that he had in me after knowing me for only so long. I just get really encouraged when people believe in me, especially when they don't know me that well, yet they seem to believe in me. Like, I'm just like so blown away by that. Two, That narrative was calling for me to take some control of my life again, to not loathe in this self-contempt or self-imposed misery through comparing my career to other people. Take the reins instead and ask, where do I want to be in a year? I'm graduating in a year, and I feel like I'm asking, where can I be in a year? In the sense of, where is there space for me in this world? Instead of asking, where do I want to place myself? It's about your intention, tracing back the steps to ask, what steps can I do? What can I work on in the day-to-day to get me there? It also makes you think about how much you can learn in a year. Like, this guy taught himself English through just online resources, and he was like, just take it a little bit at a time. Poquito a poquito, which means a little at a time. It's a Spanish phrase for that, and it's just such a great motto to think that when you're overwhelmed with where you want to be, where you can be, where you should be, you take it either one day at a time. You take a skill or a goal, break it down, and just a little bit by little, you chisel away to reveal the sculpture at the end. For this is a journey of refinement. Being in your 20s is a great time to be exploring. We sit in so much privilege to even have the capacity to wonder about our futures and our potentials. Much gratitude we should have to even that to begin with. Poquito a poquito. Where do I want to be in a year? And I want to extend that question to you. Where do you want to be in a year? Back in a year's time. And no matter how big or small the accomplishment is, we can celebrate it together. I'll see you in a bit.